Hello and welcome to the presentation of Setting Up Clinical Research Organization and Overview. This presentation focuses on the setting up clinical research organization in Indian point of view. Okay, coming to the outsourcing. When it comes for the clinical research organization, and outsourcing plays an important role. So clinical research outsourcing is the transfer of full in or part of the business activities to an outside entity. It may be in person, it may be a body, or it may be a company per se. So this transfer of activities include business procedures, processes and responsibilities. Next it comes to the global pharma industry. If you see the current scenario, the cost of drug development in developed world is around $1.2 billion. But in India the cost gets reduced due to the cheap manpower involved in that, and that comes down to the around $800 million. So this is a big difference why the India is becoming an source for the or hub for the contract research activities. So if you look at the number of clinical trial activities in India, around 233 activities or the studies are going on in India. The figure shows that in India around 938 phase 3 trials are going on, 431 phase 2 and 221 phase 1, and lastly the phase 4 trials are 197. Coming to the Indian regulatory framework. The Indian regulatory framework is governed by national government or central government of India, and under that three different departments carry out the function of regulation of healthcare related activities. So Ministry of Health and Family Welfare is governed by Directorate of Health Services, DGHS. Under that it comes to the CDSCO, which forms the guidelines and creates an amendments in Drugs and Cosmetics Act. The approvals for the drugs and other licenses are given by Drugs Controller General of India, and these are advised by the Drug Technical Advisory Board. Regarding genetic engineering product, the Genetic Engineering Approval Committee GEAC gives approval to the biotech based products, so that comes under the Ministry of Environment. Next, when it comes to the pricing of the drugs, the National Pharmaceutical Pricing Policy NPPA under the Department of Pharmaceuticals of Ministry of Chemicals and Petrochemicals, these activities are carried out. Next it comes to the strategy making. When we are planning for setup of any CRO, you should have a certain strategy in your mind. So the strategy is governed by the help of person who is experienced in the clinical research field. Of course he should be preferably a medical graduate, MD, MS kind of person. So the person who has appropriate expertise around 10-12 years is selected as a head of medical affairs or the medical advisor for that company, and that person is heading the organization. When the organization is in the nascent stage or at the starting phase, the organization gets recognized by the name of that person. So that's why the strategy making is important. After that, selecting of the person, planning is also important, and selecting an expertise area for the particular CRO. Initially, if the doctor or the physician is having area of oncology as an expertise, then definitely it will be selected as a area of the company. Coming to the initial recruitment. When it comes for the initial recruitment for setting up, generally we need 5 to 10 people for that. So first comes the medical advisor, then the clinical research associates, 1 or 2 associates are recruited, then supervisor for that activity is essential, 1 regulatory person, 1 finance person, and another is the QA person, of course. Now if we focus on the clinical research sector in India, prevalence of diseases in India is high for cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, gastrointestinal disorders, psychological disorders. So these 4 areas should be focused for a new CRO to get more and more project and to foster further in clinical research field. So what are the factors affecting the setup of CRO? Factors essential are finance, human resources, marketing and technical or scientific expertise. Regarding marketing, if you see, the marketing of contract research or clinical research organization is little bit different than the conventional pharmaceutical marketing. Clinical research organizations are getting project from US and Europe, of course, because of the sponsor companies are from there itself. So that's why the CPHI worldwide, which held in the Spain in the month of September or October, so it is generally used as a source for getting contracts, and that's why the CRO set up stalls there for getting many projects and tie-ups kind of activities are done. CPHI India is also held in India, but there are very few CROs are setting up the stall and very few sponsors are interested in certain kinds of outsourcing projects in India. So that's why its exhibition approach is also important, which is held in Europe or US. Then ACRP conferences, DIA journal advertisements also give you the number of projects. Coming to the project management tools, once you get a project, you should have a project management tool. So MS Project 2007 or 2010, Primavera is used by TCS in today's world. Then Smartsheet is again freeware, or it can be shared as a online project management you can do using Smartsheet. So these kind of simple tools you can use. Now coming to the registration requirements, once you set up a company, you require registration in particular country. So in India, for CROs, you have 4 different options, like sole proprietorship if the person is to be recognized, and the sole proprietorship has many advantages also, that one person can govern his own company and that company gets recognized by the person's name. In private limited company, you should have at least 2 directors and maximum 8 directors are essential. In public limited, of course, it's a big company. And in limited liability partnership, it is set up from around year of 2008 from the Limited Liability Partnership Act by Government of India, and this limited liability requires at least 2 partners. So what are the requirements then for setting up the organization? You require memorandum of association. There you write many activities like finances, tie-ups, duties, responsibilities, taxation, profit sharing, loss sharing, etc. and many more can be there in memorandum of association. Next it comes to the registration under Companies Act, and then it requires a TAN number as well as PAN number in the name of organization. The most important concern for registration of CROs is under the CDSCO, Central Drug Standard Control Organization, under Schedule Y1. So Schedule Y1 gives you an idea of setting up CRO and it gets registered then. So in all, you can see in India is the tremendous scope for the clinical research. Of course, the Schedule Y1 is in the draft in still stage, but the CROs, not many CROs have been registered in under the Schedule Y1 under the CDSCO, and of course the planning and marketing, technical expertise and project management are essential aspects for setting up CRO. These are references. And thank you very much.